Hello everyone. January the 5th today, Wednesday. Wow, what the beginning of the new year. And yes, really my sincere wishes to all of you to have an excellent, outstanding, superb year. It will be that way. It's just that first couple months now which we have to navigate through, which we knew would be extremely intense, and here they are. And I'm showing you the fine print, the astrological energies. Yesterday, Earth was closest to the Sun in its yearly travels. That means now the centrifugal forces which are pulling Earth away from the Sun are superior again over the gravitational forces which pull her back closer to the Sun. So this is a big shift of energy. Every half year we have that happening, that these two energies change in their balance. One becomes stronger again over the other. So again, yesterday the centrifugal, the forces of liberation are in favor again, if you want, and then after July the 4th, the forces of attraction, of pulling us back to be with our Sun, which represents pretty much the source of life and everything. So we're kind of having gone out on a limb and now we're coming back in. So right now we are again in this new 6-month phase which started yesterday, which we will go back out on a limb again. So it's always very exciting, that moment. And naturally the astrological chart which goes with it is superb. We'll get there in a minute. Right now this is what is most in the moment. As I'm recording, the moon is here in the 27th degree of Aquarius, so just about an hour from now Vesta will be exactly conjunct the galactic center at 27 degrees and 8 minutes in Sagittarius. That is Sagittarius A, as the astronomers call it, the core of our galaxy, 26,000 years away, where all the stars we see in our night sky are revolving around. It's also called the central sun. Very, very powerful, important point in astrology. In everyone's chart, wherever the galactic center is, this will be a major, major factor to understand your chart. What is aligned with the galactic center is really your higher mission, why you're here. That's always linked into these degrees. It so happens that right now, as I mentioned previously, we have 8 consequent full moons in a 30-degree angle with the galactic center. That started September 20th, which was the day heliocentrically Jupiter entered Pisces. Interestingly enough, I will get back to that in my next or so video. I have done some amazing discoveries there, researched the ingresses of Jupiter and Neptune into Pisces. It's amazing, the synchronicity. It truly explains the enigma we're in, to break the spell of Neptune. That's really what this is all about, to open our perception to what's real and what's not. Because that's the best way to say it. When we tap into this awareness where questions disappear, because we have direct insight into matters, and that's what we're approaching in a very fast and big way, coming later this month. Yes, so Vesta, the galactic center, let me just quickly say a few things about that. Anyway, I got sidetracked. We have 8 consequent full moons. Yes, started September the 20th and lasts all the way every month around the 27th degree, and a very close aspect to the galactic center till April 16 will be the last one. So this in itself is showing that we are in a galactic upgrade right now. We are going through that major center part of this upgrade, of this alignment to the galaxy, the opening to a greater reality, which is the acronym pretty much for a spiritual rebirth in a higher plane, an ascension you could call it. And naturally this was known long ago by those who have the direct insights into energies, and also that whole great reset was kind of planned around that time to hopefully sway us away and sidetrack humanity and capture it in a bag just before this can happen. So that's kind of the greater story there, but we will win. That's very obvious. So Vesta is what we worship. It's worship. It's the goddess caring for the light in the temple, that it never goes out. It's bringing fruit to the gods, making sure they are always well served in that sense. And again, this is symbolic. If we serve the highest in ourselves, I guess that's the best way to transcribe it, then we are on Vesta's route. It's a spiritual service in short. So this chart is extremely powerful. We will get back to it, but I just wanted to say this is what's happening right now, a realignment with what is really dear to us, what we care to manifest and bring into our lives, very much connected to this holy flame of Vesta. Under a Moon-Jupiter conjunction, closing in what's the word? An applying Moon-Jupiter conjunction. Very powerful. It's kind of that building up of energy. It gets more and more intense till the moon is exactly on Jupiter. So this is the nature of what is put here in as a milestone, new beginning. Yes, January is extremely intense. I mean, this tells you all here, this conjunction. The lunar nodes have been very slowly going backwards here since September, early September, in these last few degrees, and approaching 0 degrees on January the 18th. That will be the nodal shift that will really change gears. Up to then we're in preparation phase. I mean, there's some decay, some collapsing already happening, starting today actually, as I have just seen that the stock markets went 2% down. This is just the beginning. We have certainly reached a niveau which won't be coming back. This is no financial advice, by the way. This is just my opinion. There is a collapse ahead of us, and it's for the good. So don't worry about nothing, but extricate yourself from the system as much as you can. If I had their shares, I would sell them. That's again my personal opinion. I think things will really go sharply down from here on, which is good. It is necessary. It will be super intense for the next 3-4 weeks. Mid-February, there will be a a revolution. I guess it's nothing short of that. That's what will happen. I said to just the other day to my wife, it's like you have a big glass jar and there are these bangs on it to make it crack, and so you see these first big cracks come, and there's more and more cracks in that container, and by mid-February I'm expecting it to break. February is the most difficult month likely, but it's already starting. Again, I don't want to make anyone afraid. It's all for the good, and we're all in the perfect place where we are meant to be. Now let's go back a little bit. On December 29th, really the energy shifted. That is when Jupiter entered Pisces for the second time, definitely. Before it was just kind of getting its feet a little wet, but now it's in its determined and fast progress through Pisces. Within less than 5 months, Jupiter is rushing through Pisces. By May the 10th, it already will be entering Aries, which is around the time when we really will see a big rebirth starting to become apparent. So this Neptune and Jupiter both in the same sign, both the rulers in this sign, this in itself is a powerful. Hasn't happened since Nikola Tesla was born, 1855, 1856. Actually, Tesla has that same configuration, also with Uranus in Taurus, that also was in 1856. Jupiter is back in Pisces, so is Neptune back in Pisces as was then. Tesla actually has already an early Aries Jupiter, just by the way, which is saying that truly the configuration of these 3 big planets in his chart will come back by June, I would say. So just there's some resonance there with Tesla, with free energy, with whole new windows of opportunities opening. I find that synchronicity really telling. Okay, so we spoke about Jupiter in Pisces. Yes, Jupiter is the night ruler of this sign. Its day ruler is, or ruling, it's the day ruler in Sag and the night ruler in Pisces. So it rules the more somber and invisible things, but also has that aura of happiness and of contentment, whatever the situation is, which is a great blessing. Because in the end, really, it doesn't matter how much I have, as long as I have shelter and food, and that's it. The rest is all negotiable, I would say. And the more we are in this Pisces energy, we realize that it is important that everyone is happy. I'm always only happy really if people in my surrounding are happy. We are deeply connected on that. If your friend feels ill, falls ill or whatnot, you're immediately affected. It's just the way it is. And with Neptune and Pisces now additionally in that sign of universal oneness, of no boundaries, oceanic, everything is melting and flowing into each one another. There's, at least energy wise, yes, still we are separate physically, but really what is the physical? It's really just a container, it's just a vessel, it's just a tool which spirit is expressing through Anyway, that's Jupiter in Pisces, very big, and this is again kind of, we are getting closer and closer to this core zone of transformation. Then, as a little added bonus, there was Comet Leonard, which some of you have been able to see. It's still pretty dim and it gets closer to the sun by the day. But it was the brightest comet of the year 2021. And it has exceptional astrology, as I was going deeper into in one of my previous YouTubes. If you're interested, go back to it. I only will skim on this right now. So yesterday, Comet Leonard, just the day prior to the Perihelion, which is on January 4th. That's what I started this session with here. Let me just go back to it once more. That moment when the Earth was closest to the Sun, in case you have missed that or just tuning in. So this is the real change, moment of change, of rearranging, of refocusing that happened yesterday. And as I say, the day before, with almost the same ascendant and midheaven, that was when Comet Leonard was closest to the Sun, coming in from a 30,000 year orbit. Really, the last time this little comet was so close to the Sun was during the times of Atlantis or even Lemuria, way back. So there is this resonance with a time far back, and which we are now kind of harnessing a memory, you could say, a reconnection. It's a reconnection which happens. Very interesting that the galactic center was pretty dead on exact on the horizon here in the global chart for Greenwich. Also, that Scorpio rising here is interesting, particularly if we go into the heliocentric chart. Sorry, that was the heliocentric. This is now the, I first had it heliocentric. This is now the geocentric, right? It's just the other way around. So that moment, Hygeia was here right in midheaven. Now Hygeia is related to health and well-being. Also, serendipities are ruled by Hygeia. Hygeia is here where the moon was when Jupiter entered Pisces. Very important. That these are those synapses between the different events which connect them, which bring them into a arrangement of energies which interlock. So this is my understanding, and I've been doing mundane astrology, event astrology, kind of watching the world and how this resonates with what's going on up in the sky. I've done that for a long time. I got way more deep into it naturally since about 2 years, and you can see kind of my history. I'm pretty much self-taught as an astrologer. I would like to throw this in at one point here now. I have been reading many books. I have done a few courses, but overall I was kind of a wanderer. I was taking in so many different ways of looking at astrology, and I've come to my own unique blend, as you see, with the integration of the I Ching and of the new planets and so. But what I want to say, yes, it's the interlocking of charts which is the secret ingredient in understanding the power of events. So now this moon of Jupiter's ingress into Pisces here up high in the heavens, here in the comets, closest approach to the Sun, as well as in Earth's perihelion, that moment of reset, of reaching out again into the cosmos and going on another adventure, if you want. So both with that Sag rising, so Sag is the energy of the next 6 months. Sure, there's many more things going on, but Sag being at the leading edge, Sag being the sign, the primary sign of Jupiter. It's kind of, this resonance gets really strong. Both signs are getting even more empowered, empowering themselves mutually. Mars is, okay, this again was the heliocentric. Now let's look at the geocentric, and yes, you see Mars is in here since December the 12th. That was when Mars entered Sag. So since, yes, things have heated up, got way more intense, we can feel it. There's some strong, well, maybe it's not yet that visible, but there is momentum building. Many people are reaching a point where they will just not go along anymore with the narrative. That's where that Mars and that Sag energy are really leading to. And Mars is just in the next few days going through some intense aspects here. Just today, as we speak, it is conjunct Huya, which is about rewriting our history and cleaning up what is no more necessary, changing our view about where we are coming from. So it's kind of a review phase, and then we are getting into this opposition with the black moon, which, yes, as I said, in my opinion, this is definitely some chaos here, which is awaiting whatever, or let's put it that way, whoever is at the initiator of the chaos. It doesn't really matter. That's what astrology tells us. It's the archetype of that energy which we are seeing here. It seems to be a necessary phase ingredient to activate more of what is good, which is rebellion and taking our power back as a collective. So maybe I should just say one more thing here. While Earth was closest to the Sun, here is Earth in Cancer. So that is hexagram 39, and opposite is where the Sun was the last few days, hexagram 38, which is struggle. So it is interesting that this struggle is one of the main themes on our planet. However, struggle in its most beautiful form is the struggle for freedom, the struggle for independence, and it's really the warrior within us is challenged to come forward and to claim his place, his freedom. So it seems this is an archetypal battle which is part of being on Earth, at least in this present time. And only over long periods of time, this is the precession of the equinoxes, which will shift this place through the zodiac. every 72 years 1 degree backwards. That's the sync process of the earthbound tropical zodiac with the starry night sky which rules all these directions of planets where they are farthest and closest. So yes, I'm always a little bit tempted to get away from my main subject. So now the sun is in hexagram 54, and this is an intense energy that's called the Marrying Maiden in traditional I Ching, and I want to show you a picture here. So this is the structure of hexagram 54. The lake below and thunder above. What I want to point out is the structure. It really resembles the I Ching symbol. It's that interwovenness of the two forces allowing themselves to be deeply immersed within one another. The feminine energy is at the top, the male energy is more towards the bottom, and you see this line here, this light, this broken line, this female line is really representing that dot here. I mean, it's really the other way around, I realize that, but you get the idea. And so the feminine force is inspired by the masculine force. The feminine force is in a dominant role here, which is beautiful for this hexagram. It's in Capricorn, the center hexagram, and it is depicted in the original I Ching as the emperor's consort, his wife, his concubine, or whoever has his most direct relationship. She is the true ruler of the country. It's that feminine female intuition and understanding of also the less visible energies, which is truly in charge and inspiring the masculine energy. So this energy, that's where the sun is right now for the next 5 days. Interesting though is that in this time frame there will be a whole bunch happening astrologically. Venus and the sun will line up exactly. Venus will be exactly between our Earth and the sun actually in a couple days, and that is the chart here. At 18 degrees here in Capricorn, that happens every about 16 months, I guess, no, even more, I guess 540 days, something like that. So close to 1.5 years. That's the cycle of Sun, Earth and Venus. Every so often Venus is coming in between Earth and the Sun, starting a new what's called a synodic cycle, which is the moment really when the most exact connection is made between Earth's core, Venus' core and the Sun's core. So there's some reseeding going on. What is powerful in this chart most obviously is the Moon conjunct Chiron again. Chiron has been receiving lots and lots of energy from in many alignments lately, like when the comet was closest to Earth, there was an exact moon Chiron conjunction. Chiron has been really highlighted over and again. So Chiron is in the seat here of transformation, and it is the individual, every one of us in his her own way, transforming ourselves, eating up our shadows, transforming our shadows. It's that chrysalis hidden process which is going on, which is a great and profound transformation on so many levels. So that's where we are getting into. So we're getting ready for the big breakthroughs. It's the getting ready phase in this hexagram. Very beautiful. Venus has lots of honors here. And it's even more so in the fourth line of the hexagram, that is between 15 degrees Capricorn and roughly 21. If you divide that into 6 equal segments, which are representing the 6 different lines of the hexagram. This is the fourth segment, and that has a particularly deep connotation. It is that whole spectrum from darkening to enlightening. So it's an extreme polarization in a way, and it can lead to the deepest of hells, but it can also lead to the highest of summits. Then, just if you look closer here, there's a whole bunch of asteroids and smaller planets. There is Hyperion, Arrokoth, and then Juno. And this is all happening in the next couple days, that the sun is exactly realigning with them, meaning again planting those seeds, those seed moments, which then will over time grow. So I have lined them up here for you. I thought it was truly exciting, amazing to see how all that comes together. Maybe before we go there, I want to say that Pluto is here at the bottom of the chart. Pluto is the other planet which over and again receives lots of additional input energies. Pluto is about transformation and change, intensity, the heat of the battle. So the sun lining up with Hyperion, I found this particularly interesting, how this chart works out. That's just, you see, just about a day after the synodic alignment with Venus. That was on the 9th. So on the 10th, then just 24 hours later, with the almost same angles, which again means they're reinforcing each other, these two events. So Hyperion is a centaur, a female centaur. As the myth goes, Hyperion was deeply in love with Ceres, another centaur, who was killed in the battle, and Hyperion wouldn't be able to keep living. She killed herself on the field of battle with her own sword, wanting to go where her beloved has gone. So Hyperion is the epitaph of sacrifice, giving even one's life away for what is admired, adored, beloved. So it's an incredibly deep ability to serve on highest levels, and that service is has the flavor of love, naturally. And so this is a powerful alignment and truly a fractal of the bigger process we are going through. Each of these charts in its own way says the same thing. And that's the wonderful thing about astrology, that there's so many angles you can look from, and you always get the same fractal, the same message in the end. So the message is transformation, re-embodiment of all that we are, that embracing, that sacrificing one's small identity for something way bigger, in the way that when the drop slips in the ocean, the drop becomes the ocean, which is Kabir has said that. Very, very beautiful teaching. It is true. It is that opening to the cosmic, again the same theme. So this chart, which has that main theme of sacrificing everything for something higher, being ready to give away what I have without really, there's no, it's not, you're not doing it for the reason of getting more. This is really the key factor. It is, you're giving it because you're loving, because it's the only way to go. There's no question in it, period. The first degree axis of Aquarius here and Leo in over the 0 meridian of Earth is exceptional. It is that probably most heated degree at this present time, as this was where Jupiter and Saturn restarted their whole new 20-year cycle a little more than a year ago. So anyway, we have Estrella here. Estrella is the one which is ready to roll her sleeves back into the real job, to the dirty work, get things done. Solaris, interestingly, right at midheaven, it couldn't be more symbolic. That's the, he has almost, you could say, Solaris has here ascended, gone into another realm, and Helonome is following him. Helonome here. And then, I mean, it's really, it's such an intensity of energies building up through the next few days, and we're truly getting ready for some transformational times, I would call it. Probably, I mean, yeah, the whole month of January is extremely, extremely loaded. But there's one window starting on the 14th, then with Mercury turning retrograde and Uranus turning direct pretty much on the same day, which will be a mind-opening phase between the 14th roughly and the 25th of January. People will not believe what they are realizing. It's really like the scales falling off your eyes, the blindfold being taken away. That's the energy I'm getting. That's starting around the 14th. Anyway, we're building up to that. That's what it is here. And then, this was January the 10th, 054. And then on the same day in the afternoon, there is the sun entering into the alignment here of Arrokoth. Okay, here let's go back here. So we had Helonome 10 hours earlier. Now Arrokoth. Okay, Arrokoth. If you like, you can go back to my archive. I did a couple of bigger ones on Arrokoth. Arrokoth has been discovered around 2014 and was visited by the New Horizons space probe. Is the farthest distant from the Sun object which has been closely inspected and visited by a spacecraft, meaning we know a lot about this little planet. It has a very, very special message. Actually, what they found there physically had the astronomers rewrite the whole history of the solar system. What they found out there was so revolutionary, so different. So it's an eye-opening energy. It's named after a native word for standing under the open sky, seeing the whole picture. A pretty powerful force of a realization of opening our curtains to a new dimension. Now, when I said Arrokoth, or let's put it that way, when I said that the next 2-3 weeks would be phenomenal in that term of new realizations, Arrokoth is shifting into inner truth, which starts at 2045 Capricorn inner truth, which is giving really the literal image of seeing the core of what matters. That will happen around the 25th of January, when Arrokoth is for the first time entering that segment. Again, Arrokoth is very slow, moves in over 300 years once around the Sun. So last time this energy was activated, yes, it was about that long ago. So this will be a novelty, that our ability to connect the dots will get a direct match from the surrounding it is placed in. If you get that picture, then you understand what I mean. So then this was the 10th, next Monday, 3:21 p.m. Now look at this, just a few hours later, heliocentrically, there is a Venus-Juno opposition. Let me just change this into heliocentric so you see. I guess I started with this chart because I wanted to show you the almost identical placement of the moon here at 0 degrees Taurus. So let's shift this chart into heliocentric for a moment. That is 1297. This is this one here. Let's see how fast that goes. Sometimes, yeah, here we go. Redraw, okay. So Venus here, as seen from the Sun, just slightly past Earth, and Juno here on the other side. Now, what does Venus and Juno exemplify? What do they stand for? This is the coming together, the bonding together we are all experiencing right now, of that heart connection with other people who are in a less advantageous place. There's lots and lots of empathy. That's what this aspect represents. Pallas here at the midheaven is a realization. It's when patterns become really understood. anyway, I want to go back one more time to this chart here, the Helonome chart, because this is really special here also with that moon Aries, because that's where we're heading to. Aries is just about to turn direct on the 11th too, so Aries is stationary. Aries is it's a feminine energy again, and it is the one who's throwing the golden apple of discord into the round of the gods and starting the Trojan Wars as the story goes. So what we're getting out of this story, of this character of Aries, is she is not shying back from conflict if it's in service of greater truth and greater insight, greater harmony. It's that readiness to embrace conflict, to embrace struggle, and to see it as a I would not say as a it's a challenge. There's a challenge, and but it's really the quest for truth which is at its core. That's the true nature of where she's coming from. Very spiritual again. So let me just end here my session. I have a couple more charts I want to show you. So you saw, okay, where were we here? Okay, here we had 1 degree Leo in midheaven when Sun and Helonome had their seeding process going on, when that energy was, you see, it's kind of at the closest approach, at the closest point. It's like the spark is jumping. That's what it feels like in that these moments of exact alignment. There's a spark jumping, a spark of energy, a connection is happening, a reconnection. So here we have that degree of that 1 degree Aquarius and Leo in midheaven. And now if you look at this chart here, that Helio Venus Juno opposition, you have that same degree, pretty much the exact same alignment. Again, that's how these two charts interlock, making each other stronger. You could call it a synarchy, a synergy, whatever I guess the right word might be. So just again, here we have Pluto at the 4th house cusp. We had that also. If we go back to this chart here, you see Pluto close by, Pluto also right in this degree. So there's lots of repetition again of that late Capricorn, early Aquarius. And this is the moment now when the Sun aligns with Arrokoth and lays that last few steps to lead to that moment of revelation. So we're not yet there. That's the interesting thing, because we're still in the hexagram prior in 54, which I said is a very highly dynamic interplay of the two polarities. It will be another few weeks, but it's building up as the Sun is entering hexagram 61. This is really opening the door. And then, as I said, the last step in that ladder where I'm going to right now is Aries change in direction here in Aries. So Aries is spelled E-R-I-S versus Aries A-R-I-E-S, just to make this very clear. Turning direct under a Moon-Uranus conjunction, an applying one, again one which is getting more intense as we go. And yes, with all that energy here which I just described, that's all imminently present in this seed moment of speaking the truth. I guess that's really what Aries is in a nutshell, that no objections, no second thoughts, just the truth and nothing but the truth. So if you have been enduring the whole show here, thank you for staying so adamant in listening. I know it's a lot, and I'm having so much more I wanted to share, but it's always, I have to kind of limit it to something. We'll be back soon. Stay tuned to that Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. That's a remarkable one. I hope to do that next. Okay. Thanks again for listening and joining here my channel, and all the best. It will be a wild ride. It is a wild ride. It will get wilder and wilder before it gets better. March, April, May, June, that's the time when things go sharply up again. Okay, leave it at that. I love you all. Bye bye.